Usain Bolt told Sha'Carri Richardson to train harder. That was 5 years ago. Last Saturday, she ran 10.77 seconds. Second fastest woman in the world right now. And Bolt has not said a single word since. But before we get to that number, you need to hear the full story. South Dallas, Texas. Not the nice part of Dallas. Not the part you see in the movies. The part where life is hard and resources are thin and the odds are stacked before you even start. Sha'Carri Richardson was born there on March 25, 2000. Her biological mother was not around, not absent in a complicated way, gone, abandoned her when she was young. And the thing Sha'Carri has said publicly about that in her own words is something most people will never have the courage to admit. She said she grew up feeling like if her own mother did not want to be around her, then probably nobody did. That kind of pain does not just go away. You carry it, you run with it. You either let it destroy you, or you find someone who makes you feel worth something. For Sha'Carri Richardson, that person was her grandmother, Betty Harp, Big Mama, the woman who took this little girl in, raised her in South Dallas, and built her from the ground up with one simple rule. Don't start something and don't finish it. You start, you finish. Whatever happens, you keep going. That was it. No complicated philosophy, no motivational speeches, just a grandmother from South Dallas telling her granddaughter that quitting is not an option. You started this. You see it through. One day when Sha'Carri is 9 years old, she is walking through the house and she spots something on the wall, a plaque full of medals. Her Aunt Shay's medals from her own sprinting career, and 9-year-old Sha'Carri looks at that plaque and makes a decision right there. She tells Big Mama she wants medals like that. Big Mama looks at her and says, then you have to do something to get them. That is where 10.77 actually starts. Not in a stadium, not at a world championship. On a wall in South Dallas when a 9-year-old girl decided she wanted to be something. She goes to Carter High School in Dallas, wins 3 Texas state titles, gets recruited by LSU, and in 2019 at the NCAA Championships, she does something nobody had ever done before. She breaks 2 world under-20 records on the same day. First, she wins the 100m in 10.75, breaking a record that had stood for 42 years. Then, she goes back out and runs the 200m. She finishes second by less than 1/100th of a second. But still, she breaks another record. Same day, back to back. The athletics world stops and stares. She is 19 years old. She goes pro. Signs with Nike. The hype is real and it is justified. Everyone in track and field is talking about the same thing. This girl from South Dallas is going to be the fastest woman in the world. Then 2021 arrives and everything falls apart in the worst possible way. She wins the US Olympic trials in 10.86 seconds. She is going to Tokyo. The dream is real. She sprints into the stands and grabs Big Mama. And in that moment, you can see on her face that this is everything. This is what the medals on the wall were supposed to lead to. Then a reporter pulls her aside and tells her that her biological mother has died. The woman who abandoned her, who she had complicated feelings about her entire life, dead. And she finds out from a reporter, not from family, from a reporter. At the Olympic trials, she uses cannabis to cope with the grief. Tests positive, gets banned for 1 month, and misses the Tokyo Olympics. The Olympics she worked her entire life toward gone in the worst week of her life. Then Usain Bolt opens his mouth. In September 2021, Bolt sits down with the New York Post and is asked about Sha'Carri Richardson and the greatest sprinter who ever lived. The man with 8 Olympic gold medals says this. I would tell Sha'Carri to train harder and to be focused and not say too much. If you talk that big talk, you have to back it up. So just train hard and focus on that and try to come back. Do it and then talk about it. Not a private conversation, not a quiet word of advice. A newspaper interview public for everyone to read. Richardson sees it. She does not go quiet. She reposts a fan comment that says, "Stop speaking on me when you do not even speak to me." And she adds her own line, "Good humbling morning to y'all." 2 of the biggest names in sprinting publicly. The man who is the gold standard of the sport, telling the most exciting woman in the sport to talk less and work harder, and her firing back that he does not even know her. The internet loses its mind. Then she shows up at the Prefontaine Classic for her comeback race and finishes last. The woman who broke 2 world records on the same day. The woman who won the Olympic trials by a mile last in front of a crowd that came specifically to see her. Bolt's words are hanging in the air. The critics are louder than ever. The narrative about Sha'Carri Richardson shifts from future world champion to cautionary tale faster than any sprinter on earth. And Big Mama is somewhere in South Dallas saying the same thing she always says: you start, you finish. Dennis Mitchell, her coach at Star Athletics in Florida. The same man who coaches Sam Blaskowski, who this channel covered running 9:89 to become one of the fastest men in the world. The same man who coaches Melissa Jefferson Wooden, who would go on to become world champion. Mitchell runs one of the most serious sprint programs in America. And after everything, the ban, the grief, the last place finish, the bold criticism, Mitchell keeps building her. There is no single quote that defines their relationship. Just 5 years of showing up in Florida and doing the work, rain or shine. According to people close to her, she once turned up to training hours after emergency dental work because that is what she does. Big Mama made her tough. Mitchell directs that toughness somewhere. And in 2023, the direction becomes undeniable. Budapest 2023 World Athletics Championships. Sha'Carri Richardson walks into the 100 meters final and runs 10:65 seconds. Championship record, world champion. And then she delivers the line that the entire athletics world had been waiting for. I'm not back. I'm better. Bolt's advice from 2021 is sitting there in the air. Train harder. Back it up, then talk about it. She just ran 10:65. She just became world champion and she is talking about it. Big Mama's rule is vindicated. The girl who grew up feeling like nobody wanted her is standing on the highest podium in her sport with a gold medal and 4 words that hit like a freight train. The best comeback story in athletics in years complete. Or so everyone thinks. 2025 arrives and the story breaks again. The entire outdoor season, she breaks 11 seconds only once, one time all year. The woman who ran 10:65 at the World Championships is struggling to get under 11 seconds on a consistent basis. Then the World Championships in Tokyo, her event, the one she is supposed to own. She lines up in the 100m final. Her training partner Melissa Jefferson Wooden wins gold in 10:61. Richardson finishes 5th, not 2nd, not 3rd, 5th. While the woman she trains with every single day stands on the podium holding the world title that used to belong to her, the athletics world starts asking the question nobody wants to say out loud. Is she done? Is the 2023 World Championship the peak and everything after his decline? Is this what the end of Sha'Carri Richardson looks like? 2026 begins. She wins the LA Grand Prix in 10:99. Decent, not a statement. The kind of result that keeps the questions alive rather than answering them. Drop it in the comments. Right now. After watching her finish 5th at the 2025 Worlds while her training partner won the gold medal, did you think Sha'Carri Richardson still had a 10:77 in her? Because I want to know how many people still believed. June 20th, 2026, Winter Garden, Florida Star Athletic Sprint Series. Not a Diamond League, not a World Championship, a local meet in Florida. No big crowd. No television cameras from the major networks. Just a track and a clock and Sha'Carri Richardson backing into the blocks next to 2-time Olympic 400-meter champion Shauna Miller-Weibo. She runs 10:77 seconds, the fastest she has run in 4 years. The last time she ran 10:77 was at the 2021 Olympic trials, the race where she found out her mother was dead. The race that ended with a ban. The race that started the worst period of her athletic life. She just ran that same number again. Coming out the other side of everything. Second fastest woman in the world right now in 2026. She is one of only a handful of women alive who can even get close to that number. And now go back to Bolt's words from 2021. Train harder, back it up, then talk about it. She ran 10:77. She has not said a single word since that race. Not one post, not one interview, not one clap back. She just ran the number and let it sit. That is the answer to Usain Bolt right there. Not words. A time on a clockboard in Florida on a Saturday afternoon with no fanfare and no speech. 10:77 second fastest woman in the world and silence. After winning the 2021 Olympic trials, before the ban, before the reporter told her about her mother, she sprinted into the stands and grabbed Big Mama and the cameras caught what she said. My grandmother is my superwoman. Honestly, that was one of my biggest goals in life, to have her see me compete at the highest level and be successful. Without my grandmother, there would be no Sha'Carri Richardson. Everything I am is because of that strong, wise black woman. Everything. That is the whole story. Not Bolt's criticism, not the ban, not the Tokyo finals, not the 2025 collapse, not 10. 77 in Florida. A little girl in South Dallas who found a plaque of medals on a wall and told her grandmother she wanted some. A grandmother who said, "Then you have to do something to get them." And a woman who has spent her entire life doing exactly that. The World Athletics Championships are coming in 2027. Melissa Jefferson Wooden will be there. The woman who took her title, the training partner who beat her at the biggest meet of 2025. They train together every single day. They know everything about each other. And in 2027, they will line up next to each other with the world watching. Sha'Carri Richardson ran 10.77 last Saturday. She is just getting started. So, here is what I want you to tell me in the comments. World Athletics Championships 2027. Sha'Carri Richardson versus Melissa Jefferson Wooden. Training partners, same coach, everything on the line. Does Richardson take back the world title and silence everyone who wrote her off after 2025? Or does Jefferson Wooden prove that 2023 was the peak and the throne has changed hands for good? Drop it below.